So coaching culture is fashionable. And I like the idea of it in principle. It sounds great, but is it really that easy to implement? And how do we truly make it work? Keep listening to learn about this and anything else related to HR. You can also find me on YouTube. And so today again, my guest is Debbie Pearmain. I met Debbie a while back when she was facilitating a one-day course, and I thought, holy moly, she's refreshing. We had another conversation that did not disappoint me. I'll link to that at the end. She's an experienced HR consultant and has been helping organizations with employee engagement coaching and the employee experience for 25-ish years, something like that. She can correct me. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you again so much for having me. I love our chats, and I'm excited about our conversation today.
So I'm still laughing over the last one, which was so hilariously blunt that I know that 90% of us in HR out there wish we could talk the way Debbie does. You should go watch that one. But we're talking about coaching today. So you've been asked to help a number of clients create a coaching culture. Tell us about your experience.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think we want to back up a little bit. So I'm always like, back up the bus, right? So coaching is fashionable. Great. Lots of people are like, help me create a coaching culture. Great. And then I want to say, okay, why? So I think we all actually really need to understand why this is so critical to our business's success, right? I think this is probably one of the most important things. And then what I'm going to say is you want to train all your leaders on the why so they buy in. And then what I'm going to say, Andrea, is we need to train all our employees on this so that they buy in. So right away, okay, I am going to answer you, but what I am going to also tell you is in my 25 years of doing this, I'm going to say a lot of organizations, it's not working, it's not sticking, and it's because they're not following kind of what I would suggest is like the strategy or the process. And what does that mean? They're not giving the training. They're not even like they're giving training to leaders and they're not giving training to employees. Wondering why it's not working. Well, coaching is a partnership. It's a collaborative relationship, which implies like maybe 50-50 responsibility. And then we're training half the relationship on what it is, why it's important, how to do it, the benefits of it. And then we're like, why? All these managers are like, I feel like pushing a boulder uphill. Why? I'm like, well, because you didn't give any of the same training to your employees. Now, why do I believe companies today desperately need to create a coaching culture? I don't know. Are you familiar with the book, The Oz Principle? Have you heard of this book?
No, I haven't.
This is me again going right back to psychology. The roots are all psychology here. So, organizational psychologists have been studying for a long time the patterns, what they see, what's happening in companies. And this book is one of my favorites. I've been teaching on these concepts for a decade. Okay.
Mm.
And why? Because what these organization psychologists did is they researched businesses all over the world, thousands of companies. And what they said is we have an accountability crisis on our hands, and it's having staggering impacts on businesses. What's happening? Well, what they have said is 82% of people that were surveyed said they were stuck working below the line of accountability in their company.
What does that mean?
I'm going to tell you. The other thing they said is that most organizations take a fear based approach to accountability, and this is wasting so much time, energy, right? Everyone's just justifying their performance. And they also said through their research that obviously, like individual people's results improve and organizational results improve dramatically when people are behaving accountably.
Mhm.
So, how do we do this? Number one, everyone needs to know what accountability looks like and what it doesn't look like. That's step one. So, we need to train leaders on that. We need to train employees on that. I can give you ideas. And then, how is this connecting to coaching? Coaching becomes the tool that leaders use to have people take ownership and be accountable. Because coaching is future oriented, solution focused. It's all about extreme ownership. It's all about solving problems and it's all about taking action. And the coach's job is to facilitate people to do that. What kind of training do we need to give employees? We need to help employees understand what accountable behavior looks like and what it doesn't, right? So that's the starting point. And I even say to my clients, like, create posters, put them all over the place, right? There's some great infographics. One of my favorites is like a ladder and a line. And there's like words above at the top of the ladder, which is when you behave this way, you're accountable. And then there's birds below the line at the bottom of the ladder. When you're behaving or thinking this way, you're not accountable, right? So it's like we've got to show people what this looks like. So leaders need to learn it, employees need to learn it. That's kind of the first step. Um, and then we need to teach our leaders how to coach people to create accountability. So there's kind of like four steps to the process. And the steps are help people see it, help people own it, help people solve it, help people do it. Well, that's what coaching does. And I can talk a lot more about that with you. And then the other side of the equation is we have to teach employees about being coachable. What does that look like? Why is that of value to you as an employee? What are the benefits to you personally of being coachable? What are the potential consequences to you of not being coachable? Like, we need to set it out as an expectation in the work contract. And leaders need to sit down with people on day one to be like, we're entering into a relationship together. And my role as your manager is to ensure that you're successful. And so here's my responsibilities. And one of my responsibilities is to coach you. So what does that mean? It means that I'm going to monitor your work and I'm going to tell you what you're doing well and recognize you and validate you and appreciate you and give you feedback. And I'm going to monitor your work and I'm going to give you constructive feedback. Why? Because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be doing a good job if I didn't. And how will I give you constructive feedback? When will I give you constructive feedback? How do you like to receive constructive feedback, Andrea? Like, it should be part, right, of our we're in a relationship conversation. And on the flip side, employees should 100% understand that an expectation of getting a job at XYZ company in their job description is that they will be coached and they will be coachable. And so, what does that mean? That they will show up to meetings, that they'll be open to feedback, that they will ask for feedback, that when they receive feedback, they'll be grateful for the feedback because the feedback is there to help them succeed, right?
Yeah.
Take the feedback and action the feedback if they want to be successful. And if they don't, there's probably going to be some consequences to that for them.
Yeah. Okay. So in a previous conversation, I think you told me that you see coaching as part of a system. Have you talked about the system?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I feel like coaching is a tool that's in our management toolbox. So if you imagine, and I never know which tool to call it, but it's like, I don't know, maybe coaching is like the level, right? It's the leveler tool.
Yeah.
Um, And then we have other tools. So we have training, that's a tool. We have discipline, that's a tool. We have recognition and appreciation, right? That's a tool. Giving feedback, that's a different tool. And I think this is part of the training you want to give your leaders. This was interesting. I do one-on-one coaching for leaders as well as training. And I was speaking to a leader yesterday who said, "Okay, so Debbie, you've taught me how to be a good coach." Right. And so, I mean, I did coaching training in this organization. I taught them all, right? Here are the skills. Here's how you do it. Here are the steps. And then what we did is we did practice coaching sessions. And after 6 practice coaching sessions, then what we did is we gave each leader some one on one training with me, right? Each leader 3 one-on-one sessions. So this leader shows up to the first one-on-one session and said, "You've taught me how to be a good coach. I've done the practice sessions, so I feel like I'm getting it." And he said, "And now the biggest question I have for you is when to coach." And I was like, that is such
Question.
a good question
Yeah.
because, and I'm answering you, and I'm just doing it in a bit of a story way, right? Coaching isn't right 100% of the time. And that's a big mistake that we don't teach leaders. Coaching is one tool, training in other tool, and mentoring is another tool.
Yeah.
You leaders know the difference of the tools. This is a hammer, this is a screwdriver, this is a saw, this is a level.
Yeah.
Most leaders don't. And here's the other part. Do leaders know when to use which tool? Because your low performers need training and they need direct feedback. Your moderate performers are the ones who need a coach approach.
Oh, okay.
We're collaborative, fifth
Yeah.
we call it guided self-discovery. I ask questions, you reflect, you tell me what you think, I validate you so you grow in confidence. You can think, problem solve for yourself, right? You grow in confidence of yourself, not of me.
Yeah.
And over time, you hopefully become a high performer. And then what do our high performers need? I mean, in honesty, they need us to delegate work to them and leave them alone and let them get on with it. And so it's a mentoring approach.
Uh,
Our high performers, it's like, you come to me. I'm here. We can set up a check-in. I don't know. How often do you want to hear from me, Andrea? Andrea's like, twice a month. Okay, great. And then if you need me in the meantime, come to me. There's a basic equation for how to assess a person's performance level, and I'm really surprised at how few managers have been taught that equation. So it's really simple. Ready? Ability plus motivation
oh, yes.
equals performance level. Well, how many people get that wrong? And they just think a performance level is based on ability, and it's not. And then I'm going to break it down for your listeners because ability is based on 3 things. Does the person know what to do? Can they do it? And have they done it successfully before? So ability is based on knowledge, skills, and experience. And then how do we break down motivation? Motivation is attitude, right? It's willingness. So that's coachability. And lastly, it's confidence. And there are a lot of times when I talk to managers who have performance problems, the issue is you're using the wrong tool. And then people are like, you micromanage me. Or people are like, I'm stressed out and overwhelmed because you threw me in the deep end and left me there. I feel abandoned. Well, that tells me when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, manager's using the wrong tool. Because the person who was thrown into the deep end needed the training approach. The person who's feeling micromanaged needed the mentoring approach, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, performance issues will come down to people lacking confidence in themselves And so this goes back to this whole thing about culture of accountability and below the line behaviors. Managers today have been taught a very codependent style of managing, which means they're not doing what, in fact, we want them to do, which is set other people up for success. What does that mean? We should be teaching people to be independent of us. Coaching is what will help them do that. Instead, we've created these kind of systems and structures where people can't think for themselves, problem solve for themselves. They're afraid to make decisions and they feel paralyzed to take action.
Mm.
They're really lacking confidence in themselves. And Andrea, who do they have confidence in? Their managers. To me, that's the definition of codependency. Like, clearly, the way we've gone about trying to approach this is not working.
Uh, what's the role of psychological safety in the coaching culture?
Well, again, right? So go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's number 2 in the pyramid.
Yep.
So what does that mean? And again, just anecdotally, I coach managers who are struggling with certain employees that work for them. And first question I'll ask them is, does this person trust and respect you? And how many managers look at me kind of blank faced and they're like, I don't know. And then I'll say, well, how would you know if someone trusted you? How would they behave with you?
They'd be relaxed. They'd be comfortable. They might crack dumb jokes. Like, yeah,
Or even just like they'll come to you if they have a question or a
yeah,
they'll speak openly and honestly with you. They'll come to you for advice, right? Like, how do you know if someone respects you? So I think you're getting it, right? So manager says to me, I'm really struggling to manage Debbie. And I'm like, well, how does Debbie behave around you? Oh, sounds to me like there's a bit of a trust and respect issue going on here. And I'm answering your question, which is how important is psychological safety? Until the trust and respect is repaired
yeah.
and intact,
Tech.
literally, like, I'm literally, Andrea, stop coaching Debbie. Back off.
Yeah.
And once that relationship is back to where it needs to be, then you can start doing what? The coaching.
Yeah.
It will stick.
There's so much to this.
Well, and what I love about your comment is yes, and it's actually not that complicated. Like I
Okay.
right? Like I just kind of have a clear approach. And it's a strategy. And again, I'm just so surprised at companies who are like, we have a coaching culture. And I'm like, okay, so is it working? And then I do employee engagement surveys and I ask questions to find out if it's working. A lot of the times it's not. And I find out why not. And the reason why not, I've already said. So either there's not the trust and respect in the relationship, managers have not been taught that that's the foundation of good leadership. So they don't even know that. They don't even know, like I said, right? I coach managers and I'm like, does this person trust or respect you? And they kind of look at me like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm like, that's like leadership 101. Like, you should know what that looks like, and you should know what it doesn't look like. And you should be taught that if you aren't seeing trust and respect, you should know how to fix it. That's the foundation. So that's like just it, when I do a effective leadership training for clients, that's what we discuss. Relationships, trust and respect, right? All of that, emotional intelligence. So there's the beginning. Then we teach performance management. That's the umbrella because coaching fits in there. It's one piece of the process. There's a lot to performance management, job descriptions, goals, priorities,
Yeah.
right? Rating.
Yeah.
feedback, coaching, recognition, discipline, career development. So we teach leaders the whole thing. And we teach them these are all different tools, and we teach them how to use each tool
And when.
and when. And then we teach employees their part in the process. And now you've got both people in the relationship bought in, committed, working towards the same thing together. And that's where the magic happens.
Mhm. Is there anything else you haven't talked about that's important in creating a coaching culture?
I think it's like have a strategy. Know again, what's the vision? What are you trying to create? A
Yeah.
culture of ability. So, what does that look like? Right. So, what are those above the line behaviors that you want to see? I get my clients to do organization accountability assessments so we can see, right? Oh, that's not what's happening here. And right away, that again, right, is like a diagnostic. It kind of points to like where things are breaking down. So having a clear vision of what you're trying to achieve is first. And then again, it's what's your strategy for implementation and having an implementation plan over time,
Yes.
realistic,
Yes. Yes.
and really ensuring that both parties in the relationship is getting the training and the support through the process. And still, I can't believe how many companies only teach half the relationship
Yeah.
for everything, right? We do performance management, leaders get training, employees don't. What?
Yeah. Except then we do a whole bunch of other things and leaders get no training and nor do employees.
Well, that I mean, don't even wait, I've been 25 years doing leadership development. I mean, don't even get me started on that. It's like we promote all these people into very important positions of people management. They have an 80% impact on your culture and your success, and we give them no tools and say good luck.
Yes. Yeah.
Like makes zero sense to me.
It does make 0 sense. Okay, you have reached the we've reached the end of this. Where can someone contact you to learn more about your approach or whatever?
So really easy. It's onestophr.ca. And the .ca is important. I've been around 18 years. There's lots of .coms. And Debbie Pearmain. So on LinkedIn. Yeah. And happy to chat to anyone. I've said this many times and I've said it to you. Like phone calls are free.
Yeah.
Just happy to chat and see where you're at, what's happening, what's working, what's not working, right? And if I can support you, that's great. And if not, it's always nice to meet and chat with people. So please reach out if you have any questions.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Oh, well, thanks, Debbie. That was great and refreshing again. I'm thinking about and really stewing on this idea that coaching is the vehicle for developing accountability in your organization. I have to think about that one. It might be the vehicle for a number of things. Anyway, we have reached the end of this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time when I talk with another amazing guest.